Brews and Boxing. I'm your host, Raider Live. Good to be back with you for another week of boxing news and analysis from our panel of experts. Our first expert, as always, on my upper left there, the one, the only, the guinea pig whisperer himself, Filthy Rich. Filthy Rich, how you doing?
Welcome back, Anthony Davis. That's all I got.
Hey, all right. Well, when we can get through one show without a LeBron thing, that's pretty cool, but that's going to be the shortest theme music ever. The other expert we got on our upper right here is he's the fish whisperer, the crappie whisperer himself. The court is in session for Judge Jimmy James. Judge, how are you doing?
You're going to have to be watching us on YouTube/Brews and Boxing to see this, but I just got my brand new first edition Baseballisms The Kid hat in the mail today, showcasing his sweet home run swing in 8-bit form. Your favorite player's favorite player.
Is that Ken Griffey Jr.? Looks like Ken Griffey Jr.
Don't! Right.
Oh, geez, a dough right off the bat. Man, I thought Matt from Lindstrom wasn't here anymore.
Making you work this week.
Right off the bat, we get a short intro and a dough right off the bat in the two intros. All right, no big deal. We got a lot of news to get into this week. We also have reviews for a lot of fights that happened last weekend. And then we'll also have Judge to the Max at the end with a little new format on it. So I'm looking forward to that. You guys ready for Brews and News?
Ring the bell.
Okay.
Maybe.
Brews and News, where we talk about the latest brews and news. But first, what we got to do, because the show is called Brews and Boxing, is crack a brew. And let me grab my champagne down here, because it is the high life of beer, champagne. So, gentlemen, cheers.
Better than Tecate.
Toilet water is better than Tecate. Toilet water that's been in a Porter John at a concert is better than Tecate. It's close. All right. First bit of news we're going to talk about here is Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing signs a 5-year deal with DAZN, which is very... half of me just disappeared there. What happened there? I guarantee I'm a full person. Oh, it's because my beer's in the way. That's what it is. Aha! I guarantee I'm a full person most of the time. Anyway, Matchroom is signed with DAZN. We're going to see a lot more Matchroom fighters coming up to 5-year deal. Filthy Rich, you excited to hear about Matchroom moving to DAZN?
I don't know. This one's hard to tell. Eddie Hearn's leaving Sky Sports. And if we remember Anthony Joshua fighting fighting Vladimir Klitschko, that was a dual joint event where Sky Sports got to broadcast the live rights while HBO got to do the replay. So with this deal, I want to know if there is going to be a possibility of having a fight on two separate networks, whether it's simultaneously or on like a delayed replay. This may interfere with Fury and Joshua, because if Fury is, I don't know if he's exclusive to ESPN, but how does this fight happen if DAZN has these exclusive rights to Matchroom fighters? So I don't know all the information behind this, but my gut instinct tells me that there may not be a rematch that I think we all thought we were promised between Fury and Joshua, if that fight even happens now.
You're saying it might just be a one and done fight if it doesn't happen? If it does happen, you mean?
It looks like the deal with Sky Sports is up in like June, and I have a feeling, maybe July, and I have a feeling that Fury and Joshua will happen before the Sky Sports deal expires. I'm also hoping that somehow they make that into again, I don't know the term, but like a dual event where the ESPN people can watch it. We don't get Sky Sports over here in the States, but I'm interested to know how this is going to happen. And once that deal expires and Matchroom becomes exclusive to DAZN, what will happen? I know Tyson Fury is also with like the Queensberry Promotions, who I believe is with BT Sports, but these networks are they've already got in the way, and now I think this is just another hurdle and another obstacle, and I don't think I like it, but Eddie Hearn would have to be a fool to turn down what sounds like the high 9 figures.
Judge, you have any thoughts about the Matchroom moving to DAZN? I know you love DAZN. You have the app, you watch it on your phone and on the side of your garage. And are you excited to see more Matchroom fighters on DAZN?
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't think this really affects us in the US very much at all. Sky Sports is a huge UK network, and this is going to affect everybody that watches fights in the UK. So I kind of feel bad for them if all of a sudden they were, well, I guess I don't feel bad for them. It's just kind of like what we're doing once these streaming services took over. Now it's just everyone splits off and wants their own piece of the pie. So now you just have to pay 7 different people for this, that equals up to $100 that you were paying one single like cable company back in the day for this instead. So there are a couple of points. Joshua and Dillian Whyte are still going to exclusively show, well, not exclusively, but they're also going to show their fights on Sky Sports. So Joshua's still going to be on Sky Sports or Sky Box Office, whatever the hell they call it, Skybox. So I don't think that's going to affect the Fury fight at all. There are a few other names that are going to be on that are going to be now exclusively on DAZN as opposed to Matchroom, which pretty much ain't really that big anyway. For the big ones like Connor Benn, he was whatever. Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith, Katie Taylor, I might guess might be a big one because I know she's a huge draw for her division in women's boxing, and then Canelo Alvarez, obviously, but that was already on DAZN anyway, so I really don't know why it was thrown into the mix. But yeah, I think it's gonna be more of an issue for the UK and really not for us. We're still going to see the same fights because I know most of the UK fights that I've been watching, I watched on DAZN in real time when they were being shown in the UK, just, from 1 in the afternoon to 5 p.m. as opposed to, 9 p.m. to whatever.
Well, one thing I kind of took out of this too, I don't know if this is true, but this is just something I thought that maybe with Matchroom getting, signing this big deal with DAZN, making a lot of money, that maybe they'll be able to use that to finagle more bigger matchups and stuff for DAZN for the fight. Maybe you get a Triple G Andrade fight or something along them lines. You really start pushing. Once you sign with a new deal with somebody, you want to really start pushing and prove that money was worth it. Maybe DAZN's got some money to throw around, get some of these bigger names to sign the dotted line. I mean, just a thought. But any thoughts on that, guys, or you think it's just going to be kind of same the norm? Okay, good talk.
I don't know. If we get Fury and Joshua 2 out of this, then I think it's a good. I guess it's a good thing. I don't know, but saying names like Triple G and Andrade, they're already signed with Matchroom anyways. Yeah. I want to see how those guys end up on ESPN, and I don't see that happening. I don't see Canelo on ESPN or Fox or taking any other kind of deals on another network.
Well, Canelo's kind of on his own though a little bit, right? Didn't it's just like a 3-fight deal, I think, with Matchroom, or a 2-fight deal or something? Just with I think BGS is his last fight with Matchroom.
DAZN.
Free agent again.
He's with DAZN.
Is he with DAZN?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess that ipso facto makes him with Matchroom. All right, let's move on to the next bit of news here. Everyone's favorite Bob Arum throwing his name out there again. He was saying that Berlanga versus Canelo would be this generation's Pacquiao and Mayweather. Now, that just seems like a ridiculous comment to me. And I'm looking at James, it looks like a ridiculous comment to him as well. Just because Berlanga has kind of a sideshow that hasn't fought anybody yet. He's got his knockout streak going still. And maybe if you fight somebody in the top 100, maybe you could get a Canelo fight that would make it more interesting. But I don't think Berlanga's even close to as big a name as Canelo. James, you look like you kind of agree with me. What do you want to talk about on that one, Bob Arum?
Well, Berlanga Canelo. If you man, if you even look at these two, that means Pacquiao would be Berlanga and Mayweather would be Canelo, right?
Yeah.
What? What? You can't change it the other way. Mayweather ain't Berlanga. I don't know where I don't know where. Dude, this guy's. He's going insane. He's going senile. I don't know where he's making this connection at all. Berlanga is somebody I know I've been touting for a while because he does have very good power, right? But he hasn't been past the first round in any fight. I don't care if he's 17-0. That's first round knockout. That's awesome. Now fights. Once you start fighting some more people besides before you start getting compared to Pacquiao, who is all time top 10 in my book. So that's just crazy. I don't even know where I just don't know where he's making this connection. I mean,
He's trying to get some of that Canelo money coming his way.
Yeah, I
sounds
mean,
like that's what it's all about.
I mean, I look, man, you got to promote yourself, and you promote your brand, I guess. But
Well, it's even funnier about it too when you make a comparison between the two. Pacquiao was around forever when he fought Mayweather, and Mayweather's around forever. Berlanga's only been on the scene for what, about a year and a half? I mean, that you've been really hearing about him. You know, he hasn't done them big knockout, big fights. He hasn't even headlined a pay-per-view, as far as I know.
Well, you got to headline a pay-per-view to be a big name player in the game. This is just silly.
I'm just saying, Pacquiao signed or sold out pay-per-view numbers out the butt. But I don't know. Filthy Rich, what do you think? Do you think this is just Bob Arum going senile, or do you think there's any substance behind this at all?
No, you're both right, and no, you're both right. Like, he wants that Canelo money. He's got Bud Crawford at welterweight. He's got Lomachenko. He has like every division. I wouldn't say every division. He's got Tyson Fury. He's got a lot of divisions sewn up when it comes to the top guy. He does not have that super middleweight guy locked up. And if you go down the list of super middleweights, the only guy he really has is, off the top of my head, Edgar Berlanga. So he wants a piece of that Canelo money. Raider, you're absolutely right. So how do you get that Canelo money? You say something stupid like Pacquiao Mayweather, and like it probably works on people. It probably works on people. I don't know what people are thinking. We all know Pacquiao and Mayweather, and these two are, like, say what you will, at least top 15 all time, both of them. Canelo is on the heels of that. I don't think he has. Maybe. I don't have a list of Hall of Famers in front of me that he's beaten. Berlanga I don't think has beaten any Hall of Famers, but you could take either Pacquiao or Mayweather, and they have like a laundry list full of the names of the decades they fought. So this is Bob Arum just trying to make some money. He has a guy named Edgar Berlanga he's trying to promote. I'm sure Edgar Berlanga likes this. I'm sure he wants a Canelo fight. Everyone wants a Canelo fight. Take a number. I don't blame Bob Arum for what he's saying, but it is ridiculous.
It is absolutely ridiculous. It's not going to happen. Let's face it. Berlanga has to fight at least 5 more fights before he gets to Canelo, and like he has to fight actual people that that are more popular outside the boxcar circuit that he sees the fight they throw in against him just to keep that record streak going. You guys have any final thoughts on that, James? Anything that came to your mind as Rich was talking there? Looked like he had something to say.
He just needs to win. He needs to win belts, man. He needs to talk about 5 fights. He needs more fights than that. He needs to win belts.
Yeah.
Prove yourself. If we want to talk about Canelo, you better be beating all the people that he's beat in the last 3 years. Well, good luck. Good luck with that.
That and Canelo's not going to fight him without a belt on the line anyway. I mean, Canelo's going after all the belts. He's trying to do.
Well, they can make up a belt.
That's true. They are good at making up belts.
I'll drink to that.
They could definitely do that. We got more belts that we can make out, and we don't we have a new belt coming up with this BJS Canelo fight again too? So maybe they'll fight for that belt. All right, let's get back to the last bit of news here. Dillian Whyte came out, and when they asked him about Ruiz facing Areola, he says it's a typical joke fight from a fake Mexican. Now, I actually kind of I disagree with Whyte a lot on this one. Me and Matt from Lindstrom were talking about Ruiz and Areola last night, and I actually kind of like Areola in this fight. He's getting 10.5 to 1. I think value-wise, that's really good. Areola's looking good in his training videos. Ruiz is a big question mark. He hasn't fought in a long time. He disappeared for a long time. You just see pictures of him with lost weight, but we don't know anything about it since his loss to Joshua. We don't really know what Ruiz is all about right now, and we know what Areola is about. He's 40 years old, but we have a track record on Areola knowing what he is, and I think Dillian Whyte's way off on this one. Rich, do you agree with me on that, or do you think Dillian Whyte's on to something?
Yeah, you and Matt from Lindstrom probably shouldn't be talking boxing anymore. Not unless I'm in the conversation, because Matt from Lindstrom, don't even call me. We'll talk another time. I don't want to hear from you right now. Here's the deal. We do know what Ruiz is. He's with Eddie Reynoso. He poops at 7 a.m, like he said in the documentary just recently. We know what's going on with Ruiz. Ruiz is ready to fight. He's training with Canelo. And Areola's old. Areola is like, what, 40 years old?
I just is. He's my age. It's not that old.
This is a joke fight. Dillian Whyte's right about that, but calling it like calling Ruiz a joke Mexican,
A fake Mexican.
That is a way to get a fight. I don't like that approach. I've never been a fan of like ripping somebody else's like origin of birth, like the way Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor was saying about Nurmagomedov. But this is a way for Dillian Whyte to get a fight with Andy Ruiz, and I think that makes for a good fight. And I tend to agree that this is a joke fight.
James, you look like you kind of agreed with me when I was talking. Do you kind of agree with me about this fight? No,
he doesn't.
I kind of like Areola in this fight. Maybe I can show my elite boxing mind with Areola pulls the upset here.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing it's a boxing show, not a boxing betting show. All right, so let's get back to the boxing part of this. This is why Areola has no shot. There's just no shot. No. Let me tell you this: Areola is old enough to have fought Vitaly Klitschko. Okay. If anyone knows who that name is, not Vladimir, Vitaly. Okay. We'll just stop it at that point. Ruiz is going to beat Areola. There is no point. He's 251 pounds, man. He lost 60 pounds. Like, and this isn't photoshopped. Like, I checked. It's not photoshopped. He lost it, man. Going to Eddie Reynoso is no joke. That is probably the smartest move Andy Ruiz has made in his boxing career, besides taking the Joshua fight on short notice to springboard his resume back up there huge. So I don't know. Areola has no shot. Ruiz, fast hands. If his hands are faster and they're just as heavy, even losing that weight, then I think it's all for him to prove. I don't think this is I guess it's a joke. I don't know if it's a joke fight, but I mean, I don't know. What the joke is, if anybody thinks Areola is going to win, that's a joke.
Well, I think he could win. I didn't say he's going to win. I said the value is there at 10.5 to 1. And it sounds like I'll put up a can of Tecate against you guys having to buy a keg of it for that one if you're so sure of it. I'll even put that up. You guys got to drink a keg of Tecate between the two of you at a fight, and I'll even drink a 6-pack by myself.
Yeah, you'll drink a 12-pack or a 24-pack. We got to drink a keg, you more.
Well, you're split between. Well, it's 10 to 1, and you said he's got no shot. So what are you worried about?
Yeah, what are you worried about?
Because I still think he's good. I still think Ruiz is going to win. I just think the value's there.
Boxing show, not betting show.
Well, I was betting Tecate. Keg versus. I'll do a 12. I'll do a 12-pack if you guys split a keg on that fight. I'll just put it out there. We'll talk about it as that fight gets closer. But remember what I said. All right, let's move on to Brews and Reviews. Brews and Reviews, where we review fights that happened this last weekend, and we had 3 different networks doing 3 different cards. I'm going to start by talking a little bit about the Triller pay-per-view, because I'm the only one that watched the Triller pay-per-view live here between us 3. These guys decided to watch the other boxing cards, which is fine, but I did enjoy Triller, I will tell you. Snoop Dogg was his great normal self, and phenomenal, hilarious. Lots of weird things they put into this one. Of course, the Biebs was in this one. They had a surprise slap match with Ric Flair as the referee, which was really cool until he hit on some high school girl, and that made everything a little awkward. We had a Prograis fake nut shot for the win that everybody saw. He hit him on the hip, and his opponent had to be stretchered out because he said his balls hurt too bad. And they literally stretchered him out while showing the replay, and the announcers are right on the ring screaming, he's nowhere near him. And I believe Snoop Dogg said, if that's where his balls are, he must have a hard time wearing jeans. That was a great line. And then, of course, the main event. I say main event. It's Jake Paul versus Askren. And Askren came in looking out of shape. He was 20 pounds heavier than he's ever been in a fight. As Snoop said, he looks like a giant bag of milk. And he also said, I have $2 million on this fight, and Jake Paul has told me to start wrapping a blunt before when the bell rings, and he'll have him beat before I even finish rolling it, and then we'll smoke it together on the air, which happened. It was pretty ugly. He also, Askren came out looking like it was 30 style boxing, to put up your dukes, like this. And Snoop had to comment, he better get out of that 1930s mode or he's going to get his head taken off, which he got his head taken off. But all in all, it was an entertaining show. It wasn't much of a boxing show, more of a entertainment show. There was also, I forgot to leave out, Frank Mir fought with Oscar De La Hoya. Apparently, as he said, had a few drinks. I think he was coked up out of his mind, and you need to watch that. It is ridiculous. He also will not reveal who his opponent is, but he says it's going to shock the world, and everyone's going to say, when I announce my opponent, that guy's going to kill Oscar, and I'm going to prove to you how great I am. So I'm curious to see if it's which celebrity from Lost is going to be fighting Oscar De La Hoya out there, or whatever it's going to be. That was my review of Triller. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Did you guys hear anything about it or have any questions about it since I watched the whole thing?
Not really, man. I watched the 8 minutes of De La Hoya's commentary.
Do you think he was on something besides 2 drinks? Because we have 2 drinks every show. We don't sound like that.
I'll tell you right now, baby. I think, baby, we definitely was on something, baby. Oh my baby. Oh baby. USSSARA. Whatever, man. Oh
he
my
kept saying
God.
USSR
Dude,
about the guy, and then USSA. And
I now know why Canelo left, because he got called baby 9,000 times every time they met.
And it's fun when every time they go to they're trying to cut off his mic and he won't let it happen. It's great. It was hilarious. It's like he was too much for Triller.
Yeah.
Filthy Rich, did you have any comments that you heard about it or anything I missed there?
Yeah, I mean, it was like you said, it was like an entertainment show. Triller knows what they're doing, and they're doing a really good job. I felt like the Black Keys didn't belong, but the Black Keys showed up. And then what was it, like Snoop and Ice Cube and Too Short and Ice-T, I think, all did a song together, which was weird, but like I guess it worked.
It was entertaining.
Pete Davidson did a really good job. He was funny when he had to be. Ric Flair showing up was you don't expect any of these things, but it was a show. It was like a television show. It was an entertaining event. Props to them, man. And they did what, like 1.45 million buys.
Yep.
Good for them. I hope, again, we talked about this months ago, the blueprint on putting on a show. These guys have got this thing right. I'll drink the Triller.
Not only that, they had Buffer on there, Michael Buffer on there and he ain't cheap.
I don't care about Buffer.
Well, I'm just saying that, Snoop came out and he says, hey, we got the real Buffer out here, the real Buffer, kind of a shot over at Dana White, which is kind of fun. And then they were saying, how much do we have to pay you? 6 or 7 figures just to say your line out here. You are the greatest, the GOAT, but you cost so much money. And they had the head of Triller out there going, yeah, he costs a lot.
And Snoop's lullaby was really good.
Yeah. So that was entertaining. I'm curious to see what happens. They did, on a boxing note, they did have Teofimo Lopez talk to his opponent on there, and his opponent was said something that I loved. He goes, yeah, you keep talking about how you beat the great one over there, Lomachenko. Well, you beat a guy that didn't throw a punch for 6 rounds. Congratulations, and you won by decision. So it was an interesting thing. And then Teofimo he kept getting shut down by, was it Kobosa, or I can't remember pronounce his name. But whatever. I still think Teofimo was going to win that fight, but it was definitely interesting to see. So let's get to the other cards, though. Rich, you watched Harrison versus Perella. I'm curious what I missed in that fight watching the Snoop concert over there in the Beebs.
Oh, before I even get started on this card, the Perella versus Harrison card, I have to make a comment on what the PBC is doing. They had a fight between Vito Melnicki and James Martin fighting at 147. Melnicki is 18 years old and James Martin's a young guy, early 20s. They are doing the PBC as they are doing a good job pushing welterweights. When is Bob Arum gonna put on some random welterweights to build someone up to fight Crawford? Because when Crawford doesn't fight anyone on the PBC, there's for years to come, there will be guys on the PBC at welterweight that are never going to fight Crawford. So I have to get that out of the way. Melnicki, again, 18 years old, got beat up, I thought pretty bad, but just a blue chip guy. But they're doing a good job developing welterweights over the past, year, I guess you could say now. Now, as far as Harrison and Perella, the one name that kept popping into my mind, who does this fight make look good? It makes Jermell Charlo look good because Harrison didn't really have much for Perella. For those of you who don't know, spoiler alert here, mute me if you have to. I'll give you a second. Here it is. It ended in a draw. Perella moved up in weight. And I remember mentioning last week that this might be the weight he feels comfortable at. And he put on a good fight against Tony Harrison. And I don't know if he should have. I don't know if he's top 10 yet, but Harrison might have dropped a few spots after fighting Perella. But it was evenly matched. I think Perella belongs at 154. Just like the 147 division on the PBC is getting deeper and deeper. I think the 154 division, the super welterweights on the PBC are starting to get deep too.
Nice. James, what's next for Harrison and Perella?
Well, Harrison is interesting because he looked good against Charlo and then looked okay against Charlo. I didn't know about the stoppage on the second one because it was just to me, it was a weird stoppage in the 11th, but either way, I don't think he was terrible. I still think he's 30 years old still. I thought he was a lot older than that. So he's still got a lot in the tank. And even though he had a kind of some, a weird showing against Perella, I think he still has some people that he can fight in the division. I'd probably say if he still wants to try to be relevant, I mean, obviously you can try a rematch or go against maybe Patrick Teixeira, the guy who just lost his belt to Castano. Or else, if you want, you could try to fight. You could try to fight the Towering Inferno. If you want to get a little crazy, if you want to get your name out there, maybe get a little bit better payday or something like that. But I think he still has a chance to get some big names. It's just going to take I think a little bit because he's just not his last couple of fights. He's just looked a little But Perella, I mean, I don't know if I have too much for him. Obviously, just took a draw against Harrison, which I didn't think was going to happen. So keep it up. Hopefully this gets him another fight with another name, and he can showcase skills. Hopefully he gets better. Can move up that. I think he's actually older than Harrison, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe he won't have too much left in his career, but he's still young. I mean, he's only lost to Abel Ramos and Ugas, besides some other guy that I don't know. So that's really not that bad for the losses on your resume. So I don't know. Let's keep it up. Let's keep moving.
Right on. Oh, Boo Boo also fight.
Hold on. Can I just jump in quickly? Roy Jones is now the trainer of Bryant Perella, so maybe that had something to do with it. I forgot to mention that. Roy Jones is now training. He doesn't have a good record on training, but maybe that's what I don't know. I don't think he does, but maybe it helps. My bad. Go on. Mute me if you have to.
Probably didn't hurt. I'm not going to mute you for that.
All right.
If you said LeBron, I would have thought about it. All right. If he's being trained by LeBron. All right. Last fight that we're going to talk about, James. Boo Boo fought this weekend. Demetrius Andrade fought Liam Williams. Andrade won on the cards, went the decision. I didn't think it was a very strong showing by Andrade, but I don't know. I'll leave it up to you. Your analysis, please.
Well, I'll talk first real quick about Carlos Gongora on the undercard for that. If you don't remember him, he also fought
kind of an upset win in his last fight, and he has showing some really good skills. I think he's someone that you should watch. I can't remember where he's from, but he's like, it's not a boxing country that he's from. So watch Carlos Gongora if you get a chance. He looked really good in the co-main event. Getting to the main event with Boo Boo and Williams. Williams is tough. Non-stop moving forward. He definitely was cutting off the ring on Boo Boo like the entire match. So he definitely did exactly what he said he was going to do in terms of what his skill level and what he wanted and what he said he was going to do to pressure Andrade. So with that being said, I mean, Andrade came out quick. Looked like he was going to put him away real early. And then I don't know,
Knocked it down like in the third, right? Or the second.
Went to the bathroom and then maybe took a pause to go somewhere else, got a sandwich, maybe some ice cream, and then after like the third round decided to come back and fight for a couple more in the 10th and 11th, or maybe the 11th and 12th. Like it was, I didn't get it, didn't understand it. It's like he hurt him and then didn't continue to pressure, which I guess maybe I haven't seen Andrade fight in a long time. I thought he was, I don't know. I thought he was different, and I'm gonna have to go do some more research myself, I guess, to see if that's honestly how he fought in his other ones. But not impressed. More impressed with Williams as far as that goes. But I mean, Andrade's still top talent in my mind, for sure. He just definitely didn't show it. Like, it was like the opposite. He would have.
It was like the opposite of ring rust, because like he came out on fire, but then just like stopped. Like, didn't he knock him down in like the second or the third round? I believe it was.
Yeah, he had a nice 1-2 coming off of a break and a clinch, and didn't
just nothing from there. Like, he felt like he was just gonna coast. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It was super weird. It was just super weird. I don't really get it, but it was. He still won pretty handily, I think, and hopefully, excuse me. Woo! Best thing I can say is that if people were scared to fight him before, they sure ain't gonna be scared to fight him now. So maybe this is all a ploy for him to get a bigger name fight. So if that's the case, man, woo! Good for you.
Well, Filthy Rich, what's next for him? Is it a ploy to get a bigger fight to show everybody, hey, I'm weak, come get me? Or does that just Andre, he's just too much ring rust? Or what do you think's next for both?
Yeah, I wouldn't rule out the whole playing possum to get a bigger fight. I think we saw that when Golovkin went a few rounds to get the Canelo. I can't remember who he fight. I don't know if it was Jacobs, but he fought someone and it looked like now's the time to beat Golovkin, and he got the Canelo fight. So there is a chance that Andrade is, like, in a sense, playing possum. I don't think that is the case, however, this time. We do know that Andrade wants to move up to 168. So we could have been watching a weight drain, a guy struggling to make weight, Andrade. And this is just a sign that he's no longer fit for 160 anymore. That even if there was a big fight, like say Golovkin or I don't know, Munguia, I don't know. I don't think those fights are going to happen at 160. I think he is for sure done with this division at this time. If he, from what I've heard, he did not look like the Andrade, the feared Andrade we've seen in the past. So I think it is time. It is his calling to move up in weight. Now, with that being said, assuming he does go up to 168 for his next fight, again, which he said he was going to do, a few names I have in mind, a couple DAZN guys. I believe David Lemieux's a DAZN guy. He's getting old. This, again, you want to see if you belong in a division, go fight the gatekeeper. You're good enough to be top 10 right off the bat. go fight a gatekeeper and see what's going on. I don't even know if Lemieux is still considered a gatekeeper, but I have David Lemieux and someone like Danny Jacobs at 168. Go fight these guys to see if you belong there. I think both those fights can be made. And a third name I want to throw out there is Callum Smith, who's just coming off of a loss, who fights in the UK, that he fights for DAZN. So I think those 3 fights could easily be made if Andrade wants them. And I think all 3 guys, there's no excuse why he shouldn't want to fight those guys. I think he can beat all 3, and I think all 3 guys still have something to prove. And I think Andrade would be a good test for any of those 3. As far as like Liam Williams goes, it looks like he's going to be staying at 160. I don't know what we're doing with his career here, but like one of the first names is like Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia fight is can be made. It is a possible fight. Triple G can be made. I think Triple G is always looking for a big name. I don't know why people aren't fighting this guy. I also have a couple more. I have Derevinchenko, who's not with DAZN. I think he's more with the PBC, but I think he can bounce back and forth. I don't think he's under like some exclusive contract to any network. So if the money's there for Derevinchenko, I think him and Liam Williams would make a good fight. And finally, just shout out to the homeboy, Robert Brandt. We haven't seen Robert Brandt in the ring for a while. I'd like to see Robert Brandt get a fight. And I think a Liam Williams fight would make a good styles make fights. Both their styles match pretty well.
Well, one thing I'm going to comment on that before we move on here. You said that Triple G played possum to get a bigger fight, but he learned that from the Chris Algieri fight. Remember when Chris Algieri fought a guy that also played possum to get a fight against Canelo Alvarez, and you know who that was?
I do.
Amir Khan. The original of playing possum, Amir Khan, plays possum against Chris Algieri so he can get a Canelo Alvarez fight.
He neutralized Chris Algieri for 12 rounds. You are right about that.
That is right. Carried him, says, just to get that Canelo money.
That was the first big fight after Mayweather and Pacquiao. It was like a week later was Algieri against Amir Khan, star of the show.
So I thought I'd bring that up. That was the ultimate playing possum. To get the Canelo fight, you just, I'll just fall apart against Algieri and carry him for 12 rounds. All right, let's move on to Judge to the Max. All right, Judge to the Max is a little different. We, when we started Judge to the Max, we were going to submit questions to Max Kellerman with the idea that he'd probably never answer them. And then our second time in, he answered one of them, and it was big for us, and that was awesome. Thank you, Max Kellerman, for that. Since we probably won't get another one on his show, we decided to change the format a little bit. We're still going to submit questions to him, so don't worry. If we get one through, we'll definitely put it through to here. But other people that are submitting questions to him that do not get through, we're going to answer your questions here. We're going to pick a few out that that sent it to Max Unboxing or question of the Max, and we're going to ask our very own judge Jimmy James to give the answer. We'll tag you in it just so you know, so you can watch it and tell all your friends that, hey, I didn't make it on Kellerman, but I made it on Brews and Boxing. So, Judge, you ready for the first question?
Yes, I am.
This comes from Twitter user The Squared Circle with a 3 at the end of it. He says, with Andrade's decision win over Williams, did you see anything to suggest that Andrade can beat a top-tier middleweight, i.e. Triple G, Canelo, or Charlo? We just talked about Andrade.
I mean, yeah, it is a good question, right? If we go with the theory that Andrade was playing possum, then 100%, I believe that he can stand in the ring with any of those 3 names. He definitely has the boxing IQ. He has the power, the speed, and agility to do so. 100%. If we say that he wasn't playing possum and then he was giving it his all, man, that would be a scary outing then, because Liam Williams definitely is not your Triple G, Charlo, Canelo Alvarez skill level. He is much lower in skill. He just has the that move for. He's got the
He got
I
the
guess
fortitude.
the Mexican style. I guess even though he's from the UK, of moving forward, the constant pressure. He does have that one shot power, and he did hit Andrade once where it knocked him almost clear across the ring, where Andrade like kind of skimmed across the ropes.
Is that like in the 10th round, I think, too? Wasn't it?
Don't remember.
It was late.
But it was yeah, that was interesting because I did not think that he was going to get a shot like that in. But I mean, so yes, I mean, short answer is yes. I think he definitely has the ability to beat those top tier middleweights. But like Rich was saying, if he moves up, and this isn't his move anymore, then I mean, at that point, then I think we're kind of past it. If he was supposed to already do it, maybe he still has one more. Maybe this, like we were touch base on before, this might be his one more shot at 160 to get a title. So then he can just vacate it and move up and keep going forward. But I do believe that Boo Boo has the ability to beat these guys. I just don't know if we saw ring rust playing possum or if that was 100% Andrade. So,
do you agree with him, Filthy Rich, real fast?
I mean, in the general sense, yes. If I had to, give you one word answers for each guy, I would say Charlo, no. Canelo, no. Triple G, maybe. And again, we're talking 160. If he moves up to 168, he's not fighting Charlo. He's not fighting Golovkin, and Canelo beats him. Can he compete? That's something else. Yes, he can compete, but I don't think he really beats any of those guys, especially after like what he just showed us this past Saturday. Who would want to bet on Andrade right now? No offense, but you need to do something more than that.
oh, I know who would.
Oh.
Raider Live.
Play the I thought it was Amir Khan.
Hey, no, I agree. I don't think he has a chance to beat any of them three. Maybe Golovkin next year if he fought him, but Canelo's just too unbeatable right now, and Charlo is a whole new other beast. But I agree that he can compete. I just don't think he can win. The question was, can he defeat any of those? And so I think the short answer is, you said yes or no is the short answer, Jane.
Well, short answer, I think yes.
That he could beat one of those three?
I think he could beat one of those three, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we have time for one more here. And our next one is from Caramel Ruaya. We'll have that down there. I think that's how, if I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with the Twitters. His question, Judge, is, with all honesty, and as a boxing fan, do you think Manny Pacquiao has a chance of beating Terrence Crawford if that fight happens? Perfect question for the judge. Super fan. Terrence Crawford, super fan. Runs the fan club. He'll write you back a letter and send a 4x8 glossy signed by the judge with his arm around him.
Yeah, I'll give you a bunch of Nebraska stickers.
So what do you think?
Does Manny Pacquiao have a chance of beating Terrence Crawford? I do. I mean, Pacquiao is Pacquiao, man. I mean, you can sit there and joke all you want there, Raider, but
I wasn't. I was just surprised. That was a surprise spit take.
Well, does he have a chance? Yeah, of course. I think he has a chance. It's Manny Pacquiao, all right? I don't think
Crawford could trip on the way to the ring, I guess. Yeah.
So he hasn't lost anything as far as I'm concerned. I haven't seen him fight in a while, but let's see him fight again. I mean, it's Crawford. I mean, it's a Pacquiao. Now, will he beat Crawford? That's a different question. But does Pacquiao have a chance of beating Crawford? Oh yeah, 100%.
Give him a percentage chance.
What is Pacquiao's chances of 50-50?
50-50 chance to beat Crawford?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's Manny Pacquiao, man.
I know. And he hasn't fought in 5 years, and he's like 107 years old. But, wow. All right. That's shocking to me. Thank you, Kate Caramel, for getting judged to admit that someone could beat Terrence Crawford. That's amazing. Filthy Rich, do you agree with that sentiment? Because I know I don't, but what do you think?
In the general sense, yes. Pacquiao has a chance. I have not seen him slow down. We saw him fight. I'm not a big Keith Thurman guy, but he beat Keith Thurman. It's still impressive. I think 50-50 it's close. I would say closer to maybe Crawford at between 55 and 60, and Pacquiao 45, whatever the math is. I ain't got time with that. But I think Crawford
Where's
wins.
Matt from Lindstrom when you need him for some math?
Well, there you go. But like, that doesn't mean he doesn't have a chance. Pacquiao in any fight has a chance. I would never rule Pacquiao out. That's a good question. And I think our judge answered it well and good enough. Yeah, I tend to agree.
Yeah, Kate Caramel, don't take it from me. I'm not the expert. I'm just the host here. So I've proven many times over that I have been wrong many a time. So
Except for Herring.
Herring, I got
I'm
right.
done with you.
Got that one right. And I won another bet that these guys had to drink Tecate on, but was that the herring bet that you guys wanted to Tecate?
Why don't you back off and move on with your life?
All right. Well, that was our Judge of the Max segment. Thank you very much, K Caramel Rua and the Squared Circle. Make sure to show your friends that, hey, you were on our boxing show at least. And we appreciate if you subscribe and log in and tell your friends about us because we work hard. We're small time and we enjoy boxing and love boxing as much as you guys do. Filthy Rich, why don't you bring us on home?
Oh, shoot. It's that time, huh?
It is that time.
I guess I just want to say happy birthday to our special guest tonight. And, if we had some questions for him, we would have had some questions, but he's right here with me. Happy birthday, John Cena. You can't see him. See you tomorrow, Bob.
Wow. God, I was so tempted to mute him during the filthy minute. That's just hard to do, but at least it wasn't LeBron. When he pointed like this, I thought he was pointing at LeBron is on a Wheaties box right there. Like that's who I thought he was talking about first. But the "you can't see me" joke, real nice. All right, Judge, if they're listening to us, where can they see Filthy Rich's awesome humor there in my background? And if they're just watching us, where can they listen to us if they're on the road?
Well, if you're watching to us, if you're watching us, you can listen to us on any major podcast site. So iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, etc. If you are listening to us, you can watch us on YouTube /Brews and Boxing. That's what I got.
That is what you got. And it's another good week. Thank you guys all for joining us. I am Raider Live for Judge Jimmy James and Filthy Rich. Another fun week. Next week, it's going to be the fifth week of a month. So that's Raiders Choice Show. So tune in for that. That's going to be fun. I got a lot of fun stuff written for this one. So we only get, I think, 3 5-week months in a year. And this is one of them. So it's Raiders Choice Day, as we call it Raider Day. So make sure you tune into that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And so again, once again, for Filthy Rich, Judge Jimmy James, Matt and Lindstrom, who's not with us, and I am Raider Live. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you guys next week.